What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am Brian and I'm here today with a pack that is really exciting to me because it's something I've never tried before. It is a MODOKOT Field Tote, and let's just get right into this. Let's get this open because I really want to see what this pack is about. I'm really excited. I saw one of these for the first time probably almost a year ago. They are pretty expensive in that they're over $400, and they're also very difficult to get a hold of. MODOKOT is a small builder out of the Bay Area, local to where I live. And I saw one of these from a friend who actually brought it to a restaurant one day, and I thought, man, that is an amazing looking tote. It was done in Ultra. I was really interested in picking one up, but I just never caught the drops, never had an opportunity. And this one in this box came up, and it's not in Ultra, it's in a very unique camo material. I'll show you in just a second here. But I figured, you know what? It's time to take a shot and see what this is about. So here we go. And initial impression, this looks really nice, just right out of the gate. This is the MODOKOT Field Tote in a EPLX600 Multicam Alpine. And I was uncertain if I wanted to go for the Multicam Alpine, but in hand I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I do love me some nice Multicam Alpine. I've got this arch pack here that has some really nice Multicam Alpine accents, and it's a bit of a stormtrooper pack. Looks fantastic on this bag. Probably my favorite bag of all time, or certainly one of them. This Azo equipment has Multicam Alpine accents in the webbing and in the interior. And so I'm familiar with the pattern. I've never had it in an EPLX600. So it's got a kind of square grid reinforcement and kind of waterproof lining to it, but actually the interior of this pack is amazing because it's not exposed. It's actually fully lined to the inside, which is always a really nice touch when a builder chooses to fully line the inside of a pack. And this one is special because it's actually a dead stock Carhartt material. So kind of Carhartt work jackets. This is a dead stock material in kind of like a purple lavender hues of blue. It is really nice. I wasn't expecting this to be as nice as it looks in person, just knowing the specs of this bag, but this blows me away seeing this in hand. This is neat. This is very well executed. Initial impressions, the build quality is top notch, the stitching, the webbing. There is a lot going on. There's a lot of webbing and straps on this pack. I am a fan of that. I tend to prefer a more tactile, technical, functional, tech wear sort of look, and this really has that in spades. We've got really nice seatbelt webbing that goes all the way into the base, which is black, which is also nice. Kind of has that stormtrooper black-white contrast. And the seatbelt webbing goes to a really nice tall handle, so you can hold it at various lengths just looking at this. This is pretty cool. You know, you could hold it close, you could hold it a little bit further, or is there, no, there isn't. So there isn't a shoulder strap. That is a little bit of a bummer. Not that you should expect that in a tote, you really shouldn't, but just thinking of the different ways you might want to carry this, I could see that maybe coming in handy if you need to take this very long distances. Can you shoulder carry this like that? I suppose you could. I don't know that you would want to. But again, initial impressions, the quality here is through the roof. What do we have going on? I think this is probably a luggage pass-through. And we've got a really kind of small pocket with no closure right here. Attention to detail. The other side of this pocket is actually lined. So, I mean, that's how you know someone is really paying attention. This would have been such an easy pocket to not include a liner on, and MODOKOT has included a liner there. There's a snap closure, so if you use this as a luggage pass-through, you can make sure it stays secure. To the front, another dump pocket with another snap closure. I don't know how big this is. It can't even fit a modern smartphone and actually snap closed, but if you want to just toss a phone in there and you're not too worried about theft, depending on where you are, it will hold it. It's not going to fall out unless you flip it upside down. I also like these magnetic snap closures, if I could figure out how to use it, which I actually don't know. Just push? I guess you just push. So you can secure something in here, and once it's in, it's not going to go anywhere. So it's got an opening on one side, and then it's fully closed on the other side if you want to use a carabiner or something. And we also have some webbing right here for attaching things. So overall, a lot of flexibility in this pack, and hidden behind this tag, we even have a kind of triangle D-ring. MODOKOT logo right there. I like that accent, that little red accent there. That's a nice touch. Again, for the seatbelt webbing, this is a material that adds a bit of luxury to a pack, and it's something that a lot of pack makers do not use. The only other time I've seen it deployed in a pack that I personally own is this Dispatch Day Pack, and it's a wonderful material. It's slick, it's strong. The only issue with it is if you're using it for holding a backpack strap in place, it actually, because it is a bit slippery, tends to slide around on you. So that's one downside, is there's not a lot of friction to it, so it will move in a backpack strap. But for a tote, you do not have that problem at all. So there's no negative, in my opinion, to using it, and it really brings this bag upscale to kind of a more premium feel. All right, so let's take a look at some of the specs. I don't know the capacity of this. I never saw the liters specified, and I don't know that I would necessarily expect a tote to be a very large carry item. We have a 12-inch by 6-inch base in a triangular shape that is about 14 inches tall. And I am curious if you could store larger items in here. I'm not sure it would make sense to try, but a go-to staple that I have is my Dispatch camera cube, and holy moly, that's impressive. I was not expecting that. Take a look at that. It's a bit of an illusion. When you look at the shape of this, and you look at the size of this being kind of a solid cube, you wouldn't necessarily think it would kind of swallow it with ease, but it does. So that's pretty impressive. I don't intend to use this as a backpack. In fact, my personal use case on this is much more likely to be my work carry to replace my failing Targus work supplied pack that has seen far better days, with a handle that's basically disintegrating and some kind of loose threads, and this is just falling apart on me. I did try to buy this brown buffalo pack as my work carry replacement. The pack is fantastic. If you watch the video, you'll see that, but as work carry goes, there are some issues that kind of came to light while I was reviewing this. So The next question of the day is, can the interior of this pack hold a 16-inch laptop, work laptop, so large and clunky laptop? Well, said work laptop is right here, and I'll be honest, before I bought this pack, I messaged with the seller, and my impression was that it wasn't going to be good because the laptop compartment really wasn't lined. It's not padded, and I can definitely see that here. There is no foam padding. The material is stiff, but there's no foam padding, so you do kind of want to be careful if you are carrying this around that you're not banging it against everything. And let's see here. It's a tighter fit than I would have hoped or liked. It does fit, but it's kind of messing a little bit with the natural way that this tote wants to fall. It's kind of pushing out the edges right there. You can kind of see it. So, you know, the natural edge of this tote is right there, and the laptop edges are here, so it's not falling all the way to the bottom. Almost like a false floor in a pack. It's kind of keeping it elevated. But quite honestly, as work carry goes, if you care about your work laptop, if you don't want to bang it up and whatnot, if you're carrying this around in public places, this may not be the best choice. Now for me, I may still use it because all I'm doing is I'm carrying this from my car into work, from my work back to my car. So it's not going to see a lot of abuse, and it looks the part and it does work. But again, I think the laptop compartment on this, while it does fit, is a little bit tight for a very large 16-inch laptop. All right, close this out. Let's see, how much does this weigh? We are at 1 pound, 12.4 ounces. So very lightweight carry. You can feel that for sure. To the interior of the pack, I'll get some close-ups on the camera, but there are two large dump pockets towards the front of the tote with snap closures at the top. Again, this Carhartt interior liner is absolutely incredible. I love the material choices on this. I wish more custom makers would kind of take this approach and find things that maybe aren't traditional pack materials, but that blend and work together nicely and experiment, and that's kind of what has happened here, and I think the mashup really is perfect. We've got a couple of elastic water bottle straps just kind of floating on either side. Quite honestly, I'm not a big fan of that. I think if I were going to hold water bottles in here, I might just put them in a dump pocket, or if there was maybe a mesh there that you could put it in that could maybe hide out of the way if it's not in use. But this strap does feel and look a little bit out of place and clunky to me. It's the only criticism that I really have about this tote, and it's not really a big criticism, it's kind of just a personal preference. I think this pack looks so finished, so complete, and so nice with such great material choices. All of these snap closure finishing touches on the webbing, everything just feels so polished, and then you kind of have this kind of elephant ear of a piece of fabric material just kind of hanging off there. It feels a little bit out of place. There is a large mesh pocket that you can see through that is zip closed on the interior side of the laptop compartment area. There is the laptop compartment area unpadded again with a snap closure to hold the laptop in place, and a fair amount of capacity in this tote. Overall, very impressed. Dual zip closure at the top, both ways, really nice looking zipper pulls. Am I missing anything? I'm not sure, but at the price that I paid, this is an absolutely amazing tote. I did pay a little bit under retail. Is it worth $425? I mean, that is a steep price point. You're gonna find other totes out there at cheaper price points that probably can do what this can do, but understanding that this is made in the USA, made in the Bay Area by a single builder to an exceptional level of quality, I absolutely do think that if you're in the market for this, it is worth it and you will not be disappointed. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of this field tote? Would love to hear from you. And that's all I've got for this one. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you at the next one soon.